Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my weekly wrap-up. I read 7 books this week. I was having a lot of anxiety during the beginning of the week, so I got a little bit of a late start. I went to the library to pick up a graphic novel to complete the challenge to read a graphic novel for one of the August readathons, the Aurelium one. And while I was there, I also went to the children's section, and that's what helped me to be able to read a little bit and then be able to read some bigger books. So I did start with a couple of children's books, which I haven't talked about any on this channel. So if you want to see me read more picture books and review them, let me know. I also did ASMR style videos of me reading these 3 children's books. I don't know if I'm ever going to post them. I don't think that they were that great. And there was moments where my voice kind of rose in pitch unexpectedly, so they are not like high quality ASMR videos, but if you want me to post them, let me know in the comments. Anyway, the first one that I read was The Pout-Pout Fish and the Worry Worry Whale. This one has to do with anxiety, particularly social anxiety, and the whale helps his fish friend be able to work through her anxiety in order to go to one of her friend's birthday parties. I gave this 5 stars. I'm really excited to see some anxiety awareness coming through some children's books lately, because children have anxiety just like adults do, but I don't think that adults necessarily always think that children have anxiety. So it's good that they kind of get that through these children's books and learn ways to manage it. This is one of the pages where it's talking about different ways to cope whenever you are having some anxiety. It says, I can find a friend to talk to, then breathe and make a plan, and choose a tiny step to take, believe and know I can. So it was really cute, and I like all of the colorful illustrations in here. The next one I read was The Queen of Kindergarten. This one is super cute. It's about this girl's first day of kindergarten, but before she goes, her mama gives her a crown, and so she feels like a queen. And the mom says, first, us queens brighten up every room we enter. Second, us queens are caring and kind. And third, the good ones are always helpful to others. So I really like the message that the book has, because that's a great way to make friends, is to just be a good person. And then her dad takes her to school, and she also has a little brother. And so they have a cute little relationship too. And just throughout the book, she's having fun making friends. Super cute, 5 stars. Also, there's another story by this author called The King of Kindergarten. So if you're interested in that, there you go. Then I read The Gardner of Alcatraz. So this does talk about a guy who's at the worst prison in the United States. Everything around him is just gray, very dull, very boring. He was caught money laundering, so that's why he's in prison. And he is determined that he is going to be the person who's able to escape Alcatraz. This is a true story of a prisoner that was at Alcatraz, and so he wanted to escape. He winds up finding a key one day, and so he has 2 options. He can either use the time that he has on the island to use the key on every door that he can find and possibly escape the prison, or he can turn in the key so that people think that he's trustworthy, and then he may have an easier time of escaping because they won't be suspicious of him. So he turns in the key, with that being his reasoning. But at the time, Alcatraz was wanting to kind of brighten up the place a little bit, and they needed someone trustworthy who could work, outside of the actual prison and to make a garden. So they wind up picking this guy because he turned in the key, and he winds up starting to actually get interested in all of the gardening. At first, he was collecting a lot of tools so that he could try to escape, build a raft or something so no one would see him. But then he just really gets into learning about gardening, and Alcatraz is no longer such a bad place, and he's turning his life around to be like a genuine, honest person. So you can see that here and see what the garden looks like. I thought it was really good. I was surprised when I saw the title. I was like, Alcatraz in a children's book? What? But like, you know, people do have loved ones who are in prison, and this does not glorify crime in any way. And really, it just talks about, like, you know, once you're in prison, where things go from there is up to you. So if you want to change your life around, you can. If you want to continue to do bad things and try to escape and just constantly be on the run, that's choice. But yeah, I really like this, so I gave it 5 stars as well. Next, I read Resisting You and Other Short Stories. I did meet this author in person. I thought that she was great. I like the cover. She also has another story, which I do still plan on giving a chance. However, this one I did give a 1-star review, and it was also a DNF at 77 pages out of like 100. I read several of the stories, and all of them were having the same issues. I liked the general writing style as far as the structuring of the sentences. They flowed really well. It was super easy to read. It's an engaging writing style that's very concise and economic with word choices, which is the writing style that I love the most and the one that I try to use in my own writing. However, when it comes to the world building elements with some just things that don't line up with how things work in the real world, like when it comes to, say, traditional publishing versus indie publishing, there was just things that were not right, and there were other things factually that just were not there. And I'm like, with the contemporary, it doesn't take as much effort to make a realistic, believable story, and yet none of these romances were believable to me. Not only that, but the guys, with the exception of the 3rd story in here, were complete jerks, and the girls just completely write off all the bad behavior after one little fight with them, and then it's happy ever after, kiss and make up. I wasn't buying it, and I just didn't like it. So that's why this did get a 1 star. I do still plan on reading the other story that she gave me, because she did give it to me. But I will be less resistant to DNF if that one is showing similar issues. This one, I just kept hoping it would improve because I really like the writing style. But after 4 or 5 stories, I was just done. Then I read Below Zero, which is the 3rd and final novella in the Steminist series. This is Allie Hazelwood's series. She was releasing 1 novella a month leading up to the release of Love on the Brain, which I'm really excited about. I haven't checked to see what the Book of the Month books are yet, but I'm hoping that that is one of them, because it's not available anywhere in hardback, and I need a hardback to match my Book of the Month hardback of The Love Hypothesis, which was the first book I ever got from Book of the Month, and it's the reason why I continue to use the service, because it was a 5-star hit for me. So Below Zero was also a 5-star hit for me. This one is about people that work at NASA, and it also has the alternating timeline where you get to see how they first met, where things went wrong, and then where they currently are. There's a part where she is in Norway and she winds up getting trapped in this fissure, which is a crack in the ground, and there is a blizzard coming, and her people have told her they are not sending help because it's too dangerous, and she knew the risk with her project. She was supposed to have another person with her, but they did not come with her, so she is on her own. And I won't tell you what happens there, but I absolutely loved the love interest Ian. He is extremely smart, and he appreciates that she's super intelligent. And you could just see them kind of working together, and that's one of the things that they do when they first meet. And she's looking at the code on his computer for one of the Mars rovers, and she's like, I found the error. This is the reason why this is happening. She has to do an informational interview with a person that has a job that she would like to have. So I loved all of the science-y stuff. I will say, out of the 3 books, this one does have the most science. So if you're not into science, then you probably will not like it. But I love smart characters. So I loved it, loved it, loved it. she is also bisexual, so there's that representation in there, and it's not just kind of like breezed by where it's just stated once, but like you hear past things. She has been very promiscuous with people. She does not have relationships. She does not date. Whereas Ian, he is the kind of guy that does not want to be a one-night stand. He would rather just not do it with you if there's not going to be a relationship afterward. So that's what the main conflict is between the two of them. Plus, he lives, you know, by like the space station, and she's all up where she's at. So there's like a long distance thing, but he also travels a lot. But I won't really tell you anything more. But if you like NASA stuff, if you like smart girls and smart guys, and some life or death moments, then I think you will definitely enjoy it. And there is a little bit of sting. Next up, I read Masking the Love by Cait Marie. This is my best friend and editor, so I guess there's some bias, but y'all have seen me give people, even in this video, a 1 star who I've met in person. So I try to be as unbiased as possible. With that being said, I gave this 5 stars. So yeah, I love all of her romances. This one is a novella. It kind of goes with Making the Play, which is the first book in her Bennu Firebird series. It is a new adult set with the college atmosphere. This one is with the girl from that story's brother and also the guy from that story's best friend. So there's the whole, yeah. Anyway. So Cade has been in the closet. He's bisexual. The only person he ever told when he was in high school was Brent. Brent was on a rival team, and people had spread rumors that he was gay. And there is a party that they go to where someone's really homophobic, so Brent goes home with Cade, and the friends are going to pick him up the next morning and take him back to his hometown. So that's kind of where you get to see them bond more. And then it goes 4 years into the future. They're in college. At this point, they've been in an open relationship for 4 years. And Brent is just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm in love with you. I know that you don't want to come out to the world, but like, I'm okay if you don't want to come out, but I want to be exclusive. Like, this has been 4 years. You know me. We know we're good together. I don't want to be hearing you in the room next to me with other people. Like, I'm sick of it, and I'm done, and I'm tired. But Cade is resistant to that. So this story, you get to see the conflicts that they're having together with the relationship, and then how that all resolves. I absolutely loved Brent in the first book. I did not like Cade in the first book because he and his sister were like at each other's throats, and I didn't understand why Cade was so mean and didn't want to spend any time with her. And in this story, you get to find out why he is the way that he is, why he's so resistant to letting people close to him. And I loved every moment of it. I think I cried like twice. I cried during a happy moment and a sad moment, and that's honestly what I do in all of Cait Marie's books. So if you want something that really gets you in the feels, oh, honey nut feelios, then definitely try her books. I love this couple so much. So it does have gay representation and bisexual representation. And lastly, I read Fake Blood. So this was the graphic novel that I picked up at the library to complete the graphic novel prompt that I had for one of the readathons that I'm doing, because I don't have any graphic novels at home that I haven't already read. So this one is about a guy who really wants to be this girl's boyfriend. They're 6th graders, so they just started 6th grade. So this is a middle grades, even though the library marked it as YA, but whatever. And so he is like, okay, she's really into vampires. She's always reading these vampire books and talking about vampires. So maybe I just need to be a vampire and then she'll notice me. So he gets fake blood and like puts it on his teeth, and he like mooses up his hair so it's all over the place. And his friend, who is a girl, gives him like glitter to put on his cheeks, and he darkens under his eyes so it looks like he doesn't get any sleep. There are so many references to Twilight. There's also references to Harry Potter, and there's references to this girl who's like a ninja slayer, which I'm guessing is Buffy the Vampire, but they also took those and they made them more diverse. So this one has an interracial romance, and it also made the Twilight an interracial romance, and it makes the glitter jokes and sparkling in the sun. And the book that he's reading to kind of get all of his information is called Moonlight instead of Twilight. It's very, very obvious. And then there's one that says he's reading Mary Potter, and it's something about a witch, so you know that it's a Harry Potter reference. It even uses the same font. I really liked the friendships that were in this story. You have a group of 3 people. And so 2 of them are guys, and 1 of them is a girl. Here's all 3 of them. I really liked how they're all connected. This girl is super goofy, and this guy is goofy too, and they're always daring each other and betting each other to do certain things. So they have these competitions all the time. And then this guy kind of feels left out, like he's not as exciting. He's very boring because all he likes to do is read. So he's not as interesting as his friends. And that's why he decides, you know, I'm going to look like a vampire, and that's how I'm going to get this girl's attention. But his sister gives him good advice as far as talking to the girl, and she's just like, you really just need to be yourself. And there's a part where he's like, you don't get it, guys always have to make the first move. And she's like, that's so not true. Like, girls can make the first move too. Like, just talk to her. It's not that hard, just talk to her. But he doesn't want to do that. He thinks that being the vampire is the way to go. So that's what he's doing. And you can kind of see throughout the book that she actually likes him more when he's not trying to be a vampire. And when he is trying to be a vampire, she kind of gives him disappointed looks. Like the way he'll kind of talk to her, like he's trying to act cool. She doesn't like that. And you find out, even just with the blurb, he's trying to be this vampire because she thinks that that's why... he thinks that that's why she reads all these vampire books. But what she actually wants to be is a slayer. A vampire slayer. And then they get suspicious that another character in this book is a real vampire, where they are now in danger because he's been pretending to be a vampire, and his friend was jokingly pretending to be a werewolf because he's like, I'll be Edwin or whatever, and the other guy's like, I'll be Jacob, but it was a different name. Like, very, very deliberate references to Twilight in a very comedic way. And like I said, this is a middle grades. They're in 6th grade. It was super, like, age appropriate for that. I loved it. I liked the sibling relationships. I liked the friend relationships. And I liked the romance itself, and just the overall message of things are going to go a lot better for you if you just are yourself. So that's what that is. I gave it 5 stars. As far as what I am still in the middle of, I'm 118 pages into Ready Player One. I am 118 pages into Ready Player 2. This is a very slow book. The first, like, 80 pages are so boring, just skip them. Just, like, go maybe read chapter 1 so you know what the Oni system is, and then just go, like, to chapter 8. That's when things start to take off. There are these shards, and there's 7 of them. So now they are in a competition to find the shards, and you don't know what's going to happen when you get them, but everyone's looking for them, including Wade. There is some commentary about how wealth kind of changes you, and the only person who's not really been affected by it has been Samantha. She's really using her money in order to elevate others, whereas the rest of them just kind of like spend however many dollars to create a spaceship so that they can leave Earth if things go south. They also have other programs, but they're just not quite as humanitarian as Samantha's. And Samantha also is the kind of feet on the ground person when it comes to the charities that she does. She wants to actually go there to the impoverished places and see how she can help rather than just visiting places on the Oni headset. But I won't go really into anymore because I haven't finished reading it yet. But there's just like hardly any dialogue. So if you haven't bought it yet, I recommend if you want to listen to it, just find the audiobook because it's narrated by Will Wheaton. That's how I made it through the first book because it had the same issues with just being way too detailed. But the first book, it was okay because you were getting introduced to things, whereas this one is just like, okay, I'm ready to just get to the story already. I don't think that this is going to be above a 3-star because of the very slow opening, but we shall see how it goes. But that is what I'm currently in the middle of. I am not in the middle of any other books right now. So this is like an addition to the TBR that I had planned out for this month, where I'll just kind of be reading it as I go. This is also the first time ever where I've just told myself it is okay to skim read. So I literally like skim. I might read like the first sentence of a paragraph, and then if it just goes into more details about 80s references, I just skip until I find dialogue. And I haven't got lost. Not yet. I didn't start doing that until I was like 80 pages in, and then I was like, I'm done. I'm so done. I will DNF if I don't just skim. So I am skimming, and then I just read the chapters that actually have action. That's what's happening. But anyway, yeah, there we go. I've never done that. But I'm like, I'm doing it with this one. Because it's just too much details. I just need the dialogue. Okay? I do not need all the other stuff. Anyway, I even read The Martian without skimming. And it had a lot of sciencey details. But it worked to describe to you how the situations were life or death and how dire things were for him. So I actually liked all the explanations in that book. Whereas this one's just a whole nother level. Whole nother level. So yeah, Hidden Figures kind of did that too. But wordiness is not for me. So, I mean, I'll keep reading for a little while. If I get to like page 200 and I'm bored, I'm probably going to DNF. Those are the books that I read this week. Next week, what I'm probably going to be doing is instead of doing weekly wrap-ups, I will probably do 5 book wrap-ups. So I'll just post the video after I've read 5 books and have 5 things to talk to you about. And that way I feel a little less pressure to read so many books each week. And also I can vary my content more rather than having a video every week that's reviewing books. So that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!